Rewilding Leapers heading off to Costa Rica on Sunday the 23rd of May. How very exciting. Okay, my name is Millie Whitehead and I know I will have spoken to lots of you and your families over the last few months, and I know you've spoken to the girls, Zoe and Liv, who have been chasing you for all your admin. Thank you for everything. So we just put this little video together, this little briefing video to help you get organised for your trip. And we really appreciate there's lots of questions and people feeling unnerved about the situation in Costa Rica at the moment, regarding curfews and COVID rates. So we are going to address that also. But let's just start off with the trip admin. Okay, let's just do the exciting bit first before we all get heavy with the COVID and curfews. Okay, so starting off, there are 18 of you going on this trip and it is such an incredible trip. Don't tell anybody else, but this really is a luxury adventure tour of the highlights of Costa Rica. So you're all going to arrive on that Sunday night, have supper in the Rosa of America, and that's where you're going to, even if you're in Costa Rica, that's where we need you to be on that Sunday night, all with your negative PCR tests. So that's exciting. The following day, on the Monday, you'll all be taken all together down on the it's quite a long journey to the Sun Rescue Rehabilitation Centre. And it is run by the very cool Jeremy and his bunch of friends. And it is a super stylish place. Okay, the bedrooms, tight squeeze. Okay, everybody squeeze in. It's kind of bunk bed scenario with a fan. But outside, there's decking area, there's a nice little pool, I know, luxury, area to play football, kick around, mess about, right next door to the wildlife sanctuary, of which you're going to be up early, feeding all the animals, learning about how they're going to rehabilitate them and reintroduce them into the wild, and there's lots of tasks for you to do. So I'm warning you, if you think volunteering's easy, this is your hot, sweaty challenge. So it's brace yourself, dig in, and get on with it. But the camaraderie, which everybody is telling us about, the camaraderie of the volunteering is actually really special. So you will love it. But it is, you know, it is tough. After that, the first 2 weeks, you're going to go round the coast to Santa Teresa, which is where the Leapers really based. You're not going to be based in the Leap House. We've booked you into this super cool kind of hotel hostel, beach cabanas on the beach, and that's going to be your home for 5 days. Here you're going to do some yoga and you're going to do some surfing, and you're just going to see the other side of Costa Rica. After that, you're going to move on to Serenas, which is the gorgeous turtle sanctuary, but it is much more than a turtle sanctuary. It's all about permaculture, holistic living, community living. So the whole thing is about reforestation, what they've done there, growing masses of vegetables to feed the whole community, chickens, you name it. So it's a real kind of commune. And you get involved, hold on, the police are just going past. Yes, you get involved with the turtle conservation, but you also get to see the community, their initiatives and everything. So you get to see the whole picture. But the setting is stunning, so you will love it. From there, you move further north to the final phase, to Monteverde, which is the exceptional and so special cloud forest. And it really is a thrilling place to see and explore. But I'm warning you, it's chilly up there, so you might be sweating for 3 weeks down at the beaches and at the wildlife sanctuary, but when you get up there, it is quite chilly. So this is when you do need a jumper. And I was there at the same time of year, jeans, jumper, yeah, and at night time it is quite cold. So while you're there, you're going to go on lots of treks. You're going to see, there's one trek that you can go right to the highest point, and if it's a clear day, you can see the Pacific and the Caribbean coast. It's really beautiful. And here, there's loads of adventure activities which are on offer. Personally, I always think the hanging bridges is one to go for. That's just beautiful with a guide. Without the guide, it's hopeless because you can't see any of the tiny little animals, tiny birds hanging around. And and do the zip wiring adventure. Super scary, but really cool. So give that a go as kind of optional activities if you want. Then you'll get back down to San Jose, again, to the Rose of America, to have your PCR test to come home. Or from there, you go tootling on. I haven't looked at the flight sheet to see how many people are coming home, but it is very normal. Parents, I'm warning you now, it is very normal for you to get a phone call midway, week 3, saying, actually, I want to stay in Costa Rica longer. And that's absolutely fine by us. There's loads to do in Costa Rica, and it's a beautiful place to explore. So we can help and guide you on what to do if you want to do that later down the line. Okay, so that's your itinerary. You're in for a treat. Now, kit list. Everything in your MyLeap on that kit list is there for a reason, so please take it. Please don't forget things like your water bottle, hat, suntan lotion. They are there for a reason, especially that water bottle. You'd be amazed how many people forget that. We've also put in, please bear in mind, this slightly changing subject, the post to Costa Rica is utterly hopeless. Nothing will ever get there. So if you leave something at home, it's tough. You're going to have to buy it, rebuy it in Costa Rica, or make do without. The one thing that people, you know, the phone, we know everybody loves their phone. And, you know, to lose it, drop it in water, drop it in the river, smash it, oh God, you know, it's a disaster waiting to happen, and it does happen. So if you have an old knackered phone sitting in a drawer at home, bung it in your rucksack, because you can easily get a local SIM card when you're out there to reboot it. Job done. Top tips. Money. Okay, money, you don't need that much money, but Costa Rica is expensive, I will warn you. So every adventure that you do, you just got to have every adventure seemingly costs about $50, $60. So just have that in your mind. And you will be doing the main adventures when you're in Monteverde, but at Santa Teresa you might want to do more surfing classes or more yoga. And then when you're at the wildlife sanctuary, often what they did this time is they took a little kind of weekend out and they went exploring the islands and, you know, the little trips like that. So the island trip, I think, is about $100, but there are loads of different choices. So you can make a choice. You don't have to do anything, but you can make a choice as a team or kind of smaller groups within the team of what you want to do. When it comes to money, I would take $100 cash on you, just in case. You just have it on you, job done, because you don't know when you're going to get to the ATM. You probably will get onto the ATM when you're on your way down to the wildlife sanctuary, but just in case, you know, it's broken for some reason. The ATMs are everywhere, so you will eventually get to one to get the local currency out. So my message is, take some US dollars with you from home, get the local currency out from there. Monzo cards, Revolut cards, debit cards, all very easy, happily accepted everywhere. Now your health. Okay. Everybody kind of thinks that COVID is the biggest thing to worry about, and yes, it is one of the things that we consider. But actually, for a teenager, well, for any of us, the biggest risks that keep us awake at night are two things: the simple cut and dehydration. I know, and they sound so boring, but the simple cut in the heat and humidity can get infected really, really quickly. And cellulosis, you know, and then the onset of getting septic and nasty needs to be dealt with ASAP and will require a doctor's appointment, antibiotics. So my moral of the story is, do not let a simple cut get infected, because it is really hard to turn around in that heat and humidity, especially at the moment. It's extra humid because of the rainy season. Dehydration, again, and often happens in week 1. It is humid, you know, the body is a weird thing, you're sweating extra, you know, you've got the jet lag, so you really got to be mindful in week 1 and drink loads. I personally, when I'm on these trips, what we do in the office is everybody takes rehydration tablets, and every single day you have one regardless of what you've been doing, just to put the salts and sugars back in your body, because if you don't and you get dehydrated, you can get onset of flu-y symptoms, aching, sore throats, and before you know it, everyone's panicking thinking you've got COVID and you haven't, you've got simple dehydration. So don't fall into that trap. Okay, now we're going to get to the meaty subject of COVID. Okay, so I know a lot of you have been ringing in this week, and we totally understand, and we hope that we've made you feel a lot calmer with the situation. A lot of the kids currently out in Costa Rica are phoning in, talking to friends, saying, oh my God, you know, the COVID rates are rising here and everything's closing down. That was last week's news. I'm going to tell you exactly what is happening. COVID rate is rising. They are correct. And as a response, the government is extending their national curfew, which has been going on for the last 6 months. So instead of it being from 11 till 5 in the morning, they're bringing it down and widening it from 9 p.m. till 5 o'clock. Everyone has got to be at home. Okay, they have got to be off the streets, out of the cafes, and most importantly, off the beach from those illegal beach parties, which is what they're having a huge clamp down on. So my message is that it's a disaster waiting to happen with those beach parties. Parents watching this, you can rest easier knowing that those beach parties hopefully are a thing of the past. Leapers, I'm sorry, I know that might have been what you were really looking forward to, but I'm afraid, you know, they're not going to be happening. And if they are happening, I promise, just avoid them. They are not a good place to be. Is there kind of local lockdown, you know, within the movement from getting from A to B? No. We've got, you know, for all tourists, they can move from A to B, B to C. Absolutely no problem at all. So in effect, on your program, you are not going to notice a bean of difference. When you're in Santa Teresa, yes, you know, you're going to be in your lovely hostel hotel, but you're fine. You can stay there. You can have supper there, 9 o'clock, just got to be low key, but you can still have a few drinks, chat to your friends. You know, wherever you are, as long as you are at home after 9 o'clock, you are fine. You can carry on, life is normal. But as you know, with this old favourite friend of ours called COVID, we cannot guarantee that you're not going to get COVID on this trip. All we can do is minimise the risk. Okay, so we are asking everybody to have a PCR test for a line in the sand so we know where you are in the beginning. And we will look after you. You are in the LEAP bubble, but it needs you all to play your part. If you are going out to the ATM, just put your mask on, wash your hands when you come back. You know, you've all got to work as a team. Never has teamwork been so important as to protect your bubble. Now, if somebody gets ill, you're just got to tell your team leader, you know, I'm not feeling well, and we will make that judgment. And we have a doctor on speed dial the whole time, who Chris talks to non-stop with symptoms and ascertaining what is going on. So right now in Costa Rica, they've not only got the COVID spike, but they've also, because it's the onset of the rainy season, which we'll get to, they also, this is, you know, the typical time you've got seasonal flu, okay? The sore throat, the bug, you know, feeling a bit grim. So the doctors are now being asked to, you know, not overload the kind of, the COVID testing centres, is to make a judgment. Have you got flu? Have you got COVID symptoms? And to direct you accordingly. So please, will you just let the team leaders direct you with the doctor's advice on what they're going to do. If you do get tested for COVID and it comes out positive, then we will do whatever is required to protect you all, to protect everybody else in Costa Rica, and if we can, keep the program on the road. So we will just have to take that judgment which place you are in at that time. But we've done it before with the scuba team, and we can do it again. So just let us lead you on that one. The biggest threat of COVID is that right now in Costa Rica, a lot of the travellers don't even know they've got it, a lot of the gappers, and it rests, and they're completely asymptomatic. And they don't know they get it until they get their PCR test to come home at the end. Again, we've been here, we know what to do, and we will guide you. But please, please take the guide's advice. And what we will ask you to do is get your PCR test in the in San Jose at the end by staying in the Rosa of America. Now there's a reason for the Rosa of America. I know it is more expensive than staying in a hostel. It is $50 as opposed to $7. I know that hurts, but as a family, please will you all make this decision to do this. The reason being, the Rosa of America is a gorgeous family-run hotel. You've got little cabanas, little bedrooms, you've got outside space, you've got a little swimming pool, beautiful tropical gardens. If you are trapped there for 10 days, you are going to have a really nice experience. You're going to be looked after. You've got the lovely team there running it, looking after you, delivering your meals and allowing you to wander around the garden, listening to the birds. You will treat it as a little downtime Netflix holiday. If you decide to go into a hostel or into the Marriott, you're going to have a completely different experience. As in, you're going to be locked in a room with probably with air conditioning, and it won't be particularly nice. So please go for it and do the Rosa of America option. Please, please. I'm not saying you're going to fail it, but I want you to be prepared that it is a risk at the end of your trip, whether it's straight at the end of the adventure trip with us, or if you go independently traveling afterward. It is just something I want you to be mindful of. The next question everyone is saying and ringing up saying is, what happens if it goes on the red list? Okay, we have no crystal ball. We do not know if it is going on the red list, but we have not heard a rumour, and even the embassy in Costa Rica has not heard that rumour. Okay, but of course the government could put it on the red list tomorrow. It can do whatever it likes. So this is what how you're going to approach the red list. Okay, and this is what I want you to think about at home before you go. If it goes on the red list before you go to Costa Rica, okay, we are still going to be running that program. So you can decide, no, I don't want the hassle of the red list, so I'm going to pull out. Or I'm going to delay, I'm going to see what happens. That's fine. If you want to pull out, then we will give you your money back minus the £100, which was the deposit to buy Elite VIP, as was explained earlier on. So that's before you go. If you are on your adventure and Costa Rica went onto the red list, and you decided to pull out and quickly come home, you would not get a refund for the part of the trip missed. I know you might sound that's unfair, but you know, we try and be fair and reasonable with everything with this COVID, but we would still be running that program. We have paid everybody in country for everything, and it was just really hard to unwind. So we would hope and advise that you can stay, and I'm going to explain why now. So if you have been in Costa Rica for more than 2 weeks, okay, you can, okay, nope, I'm going to start in a different way, okay, sorry. So if it goes on the red list, the government announces it goes on the red list, and you usually have 1 week to get home. If you said to me, I'm coming home in that week, okay, I would say to you, fine. You're not, you know, you'll be really lucky to get a place on the flight with Air France or Iberia, because their flights are really, really slim. So what I'd advise you to do is to buy a new ticket and transit through America, which is possible if you've been in Costa Rica for more than 2 weeks. Okay, that is critical. If you haven't been in Costa Rica for more than 2 weeks, hopefully you'll be able to come buy a new ticket, and we will have to look into this depending on what Boris announced on Friday and next week with Europe. So we would look at another flight option. So we'll lead you on that one. If you have been in Costa Rica for 2 weeks, then you can fly through the States. But to fly through the States and you're thinking, okay, I want to be really prepared, then how to be prepared is you need an ESTA for that maneuver. And I would therefore advise you buy an American transit ESTA visa before you leave for Costa Rica, so you have it up your sleeve should you need it, so you can move fast. Okay. If you decided, oh, I'm just going to relax, I'm going to, yes, it's on the red list, yes, I'm just going to stay and enjoy my program, do my independent traveling, not going to, you know, sweat about it, then I think that would be the most sensible thing to do. But clearly, you have got to move from Costa Rica into the States, which you'll be able to do because you've got your ESTA and you've been out of the UK for 2 weeks, and you go to America for a 10-day holiday before you fly home. Job done. So all a red list means is that you have to come back home via another country which is not on the red list. Hopefully that will be the States, or after Boris's announcement this week, next week, it could be one of the European countries. So as we have learnt with Namibia and Kenya going on the red list, there is always a solution. So, I just, it sounds very, oh my God, it's gone on the red list, but, I just want you to be mindful and discuss how you're going to react and what you would like to do before you leave, so that you know what you want to do. Okay? I think that is all. I have talked for long enough. Please, if any of this has kind of raised alarm, or you're just thinking, uh-oh, or no, fine, relax, just give us a call. We are here in the next couple of weeks. If Boris announces something really peculiar, you know that we will get in contact with you. So, we're all on the same side. We're all working through this together. And hopefully, we've been here before, we will get you to Costa Rica and you will have the adventure that you have been waiting for on your gap year. So, hold tight.